Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. If you're new here, my name is Elena and I am the homeschooling mama to 3 kiddos. Here on the channel we talk about everything from homeschooling to homemaking, all things in between. Let's dive in. We're going to talk about homeschool curriculum for our upcoming year. This is going to be for my youngest son. My youngest son is on the autism spectrum, so we kind of do a hybrid schooling for him. I actually kind of feel like I do that for all of my kiddos. I really try to meet my kiddos where they're at and find curriculum and grade levels that is challenging enough for them that they are going to be learning and absorbing new information, but not too challenging that they just want to quit and feel like they're never going to catch up. So for my youngest son, this will be a first, second kind of hybrid. We'll see, because he runs like leaps and bounds, and so there are some things that I want him to review and kind of make sure that he really knows the foundations of the principles on before we can move on to the next thing. But I really this year am kind of excited to see where it's going to take us, and it's going to be a year, I think, of just some big discoveries for him and just moving and grooving in his schooling, because like the last few months of school he just jumped in leaps and bounds, it felt like to me, and I just could not keep up with printing out some of our curriculum. So let's dive in and I'll share with you what we're going to be attempting to use at the beginning of the school year, along with what we may go into later in the school year. Now, I find that my son gets a little bored with the same curriculum over and over again, and so we have to find a couple of different ones and integrate them together that are still teaching the same foundations, and that can be a lot of work sometimes, but I'm sure that mamas out there can relate, or even dads, guardians, grandmas, whoever's teaching the kiddos, that we're willing to do it, to put it in the time for our kids, even if it does mean extra. And that's one of the many beauties of homeschooling, is meeting your kiddos and being able to do that. So I feel very fortunate that we can. But I also need to be mindful of our budget, because this can get very costly. So some of the things we do is a lot of printables. I look for used curriculum if we can, and then kind of piece it together like that. For our math, we're going to continue on with Moffatt Girls. Moffatt Girls is from the Teachers Pay Teachers website, and I have already purchased their Math Made Fun in a couple of different levels. So we are going to finish up one of our levels. I'm going to be checking in with him and seeing what level we need to move on to. We were somewhere in the middle of the first level, I believe. I will put a picture up of which level we were on. So I'm going to check to see how fast we can move and groove through that. This works really well for us because I can print out just what I need. I don't have to print out the entire thing. Now I will be printing out like a week or two, probably 2 at a time, just so that I can get a feel of where he's at. I do have a video up. I will link it for you up in the cards here of how I go about setting up the Moffatt Girls Math Made Fun Center. It is an older video, so please forgive the camera quality. I will try to update that if I can as I'm going through this year and getting our school prepped for this year. But basically I print out the worksheets and I put it into a folder like this, and then they have some really fun activities for your kids that you can print out and do as well. And so I get a couple of those printed out. I don't do the entire year. This year especially I'm not going to, because like I said, I just kind of have to gauge where he's at and move from there, because he's been going quicker than I can get the curriculum done. He seems to get the foundation down and understand the concept, and we're still going over the same practices over and over, and he'll become bored and not want to do it. And so we want to see if I can avoid that this year, if at all possible. So I'm going to be printing out some from Math Made Fun from the Moffatt Girls, and then I also, The Good and the Beautiful has PDFs that you can print on your own if you want to. Now they're very affordable if you purchase it for the quality material that you're getting, because their colors and the paper stock that it's on, the colors are very rich and deep and just very vibrant when need to be, and then the paper stock is good sturdy paper stock. But I was kind of running out of homeschooling budget, so I wasn't able to purchase it. So I did go ahead and download the PDF of one of their math levels, and I we'll try printing off a couple of things at a time and see if that will integrate well with this. Last year we kind of just stuck with Math Made Fun, and we were able to go through it through the year. I was able to speed it up when he needed to by just going on to the next concept when he had gotten the first concept down. pretty concrete. But like I said, he kind of gets bored with things, and so I have to switch it up every now and again. So we'll see. This is one of those things that I will definitely have to do an update video sometime during the year to see where we're at with him. So make sure, here's your chance to make sure that you hit that subscribe button along with the bell notifications so you don't miss those videos when they come up. But for math, we're going to start with Math Made Fun from the Moffatt girls, and then I will try to integrate some of the good and the beautiful if I see that he's getting bored. Now, speaking of the good and the beautiful, if you saw my daughter's curriculum video, you will see that we are going to be working on mammals for our science. It's still in the protected plastic here. I have to put all these things together. But this is going to be a group subject that we do. So this is going to be for my two littles. They will be doing science together, and they voted on doing mammals, and then we will move over to marine biology if this seems to work out well for them. We did purchase the mammals. This is going to be updated, I believe, at the end of this year, 2022. So this is the older one, but I'm glad that we were able to purchase it because we didn't have to buy separate worksheets. The worksheets are already in here, and then if you need an extra copy, you just print those off yourself. The updated versions, I believe, come with a separate student workbook. So when we purchased this, we also were able to get the PDF version of marine biology for free. And so if it works out for us, we already have that PDF, and then we can either send it to a printer and have it printed out, or we can print it ourselves, or we can just go into the good and the beautiful and order it if I wanted it, if it works out better for us that way. So I'm glad that I have that access to me, the second science unit that we plan on using. But if they don't do well with this one, then I didn't put the investment in already to buy 2 units from them. So this is what we're going to be starting out with for our science and seeing where it goes for us. Now for language arts, we are going to be finishing up all about reading level 1, I believe. Yeah, this is level 1. So we didn't get all the way through. We almost did, but we didn't quite finish this off. So we are going to pick up where we left off on here. This is proving to be a little bit tougher for him, not this curriculum in particular, but language arts. He's doing very well with understanding the letters and the sounds that they make and even some of the blends, but he's having a hard time just putting it all together. So I want to make sure that we really have this down. Reading is a tough subject to teach to your kiddos. It is just, especially I feel like the English language, never did I realize what a tough language it is until I started teaching it or attempting to teach it, right? Like it just, it can be so complicated for our poor babies. So I want to make sure that we finish this out. He enjoys this program, but we do switch it up with a couple of other things. So we include phonics and other, like I said, when he was having trouble with blendings, I would give more practice with that. So we're going to be doing all about reading, and then we're also going to be integrating another Moffatt Girls curriculum, and that is their ready to read. This is just a folder that I had prepped already. I'm not sure if this is the level we're on. I have to go through and take a look at it, but they have a ready to read series, and this is just the way that I prepped this. If you want a bigger, if you'd like to see a more in-depth video of how I prepped this Moffatt Girls curriculum, let me know down below and I will share with you, because I'm sure I'm gonna have to do another one for this upcoming year. But I just have it in a folder, and then I kind of have the activities and worksheets in here as well. And these are more hands-on activities, which I find work really good for him. And then on a trip, again to the good and the beautiful, they were doing a sale. They had, I think they were updating a lot of their curriculum, and so they had their level 1 on clearance. So it was half off the regular price. So I went ahead and purchased it for my son. Now, I will say that we did try the good and the beautiful, the level before this, the pre-level, I think, and he was extremely bored with it. He did not like it. It was too slow for him. So I did purchase this one, hoping that maybe some more, because this seems to be a little bit more activities for him, that it would catch his attention. He is not quite ready for these things just yet, but I will have it on hand in case he goes quickly for me and I can't, get through. I don't have another curriculum ready for him, which happened to us last year. So they have a little bit more hands-on activities, I think. I don't know if it was the stories or he just wasn't interested at that time, but he's much more interested in sitting and listening to stories now, and so I think that this may work well for him. I do a quick flip through of this on another video we have, so if you'd like to see that, I will link that for you too. So there is a couple more components to that. This is their reader. This is just the worksheet, but there's a couple more components to this. I believe there's flashcards and then maybe another workbook. Can't remember off the top of my head, but this is just what I grabbed to show you and share with you. So that is 3 different curriculums that we're using. You don't need all of these if your kiddos will hold attention and can stick through with one curriculum throughout the year. This is just the instance for my son and what I found works best for him. So please don't feel overwhelmed if you feel like it's just a lot of information. It is it's a lot, but like I said, this is what I have finding is working well for him. I hope as he gets older and we learn more about how his mind works and how I'm better able to help him and I can understand him more and he maybe can tell us more, that we can streamline a little bit. But for now, this is what's working, and so this is what we're trying to do. We're just trying to do our best. So don't feel like you need all of these things. I just thought I would share with you examples of what we're doing. So that's what we have on deck, on hand for us to start our year with. We also want to be doing some handwriting practice with him, and I think for both him and my daughter, I didn't mention this in my daughter's curriculum video, but we are going to be doing the Draw Write Now. This is the set, but you can buy the individual booklets, and they have different subjects that basically your kiddos can draw, and then they do some writing practice for each one. And so this one is On the Farm, Kids and Critters, Storybook Characters. This is the book 1, and they're fairly small. And inside they just have a picture that they've colored in as an example, and then they have a few sentences. Sorry about that. They have a few sentences here that your kiddos can write, and then they have like a step-by-step how to draw this. This I think is going to work out well for my kids. I will have my daughter probably for her handwriting practice do this as well. She can do, of course, all the sentences, but I think that for my younger son who does not sit quite as long and get very antsy very quickly, I may have him do just 1 or 2 sentences depending on the day, and then draw the picture as well. And so this will just be kind of a morning time warm-up starter for them and handwriting practice. So like I said, they do have different subjects. They have this one, like I said, was on the Farm, Kids and Critters, and Storybook Characters. They also, in this pack that I have here, have Christopher Columbus, Autumn Harvest, The Weather. Book 3 is Native Americans, North America, The Pilgrims, and then 4 is the Polar Regions, the Arctic, the Antarctic. Book 5 is the U.S. from sea to sea, moving forward, and so on and so on. They also have animals and habitats and animals of the world, including dryland and forest animals. And so as we go through the mammals book, I think I may pull some of those out just to go along with what we're learning at the time. Other things that we will kind of throw in, but I don't have set curriculums for, is unit studies, topic studies. So somebody doing unit studies on health and safety. We'll be doing things like a unit on our teeth, oral hygiene and keeping our teeth and mouth clean, as well as nutrition and stuff like that. We'll just be touching lightly on those subjects, but they'll probably be more like smaller unit subjects that we toss in here and there throughout the year. I also like to do smaller unit studies for things like Veterans Day and Memorial Day for my kiddos. And then of course we like to sprinkle in art wherever we can. And I really hope that this year we are going to be able to get back to doing some more nature studies. We kind of got away from that the last year and a half, but I'm really hoping that this year we will be able to venture out more and do more of that, even if it's just in our own backyard or front yard, you know, in the neighborhood, but just go out and just really have them see and appreciate nature and all that God has blessed us with. That is it for my youngest son for the set curriculum. Like I said, it is all very tentative with him. I am still prepping and going to start organizing this stuff. I may or may not have videos coming out on how we're prepping and organizing, just depending on how much time I get to do this. But like I said, if you're not subscribed, maybe hit that subscribe button and make sure that you have the bell notification so we don't get lost in all of your fun video subscriptions that you have. We have really been savoring our summer vacation, but as I'm going through the curriculum and seeing all that we have, I am both getting excited and at the same time really soaking in these last few weeks of summer. So I hope that this video was helpful to you or entertaining in the very least. Thank you so much for spending your time and hanging out with me. And if you don't know or if you haven't heard lately, please know that you are deeply and truly loved and so appreciated. Thank you again for spending your time with me.